Hello everyone, myself I am Dr. Parves Mohammed, working as Assistant Professor in Marri Laxman Institute of Technology and Management, Dundigal, Hyderabad. So today I am going to discuss about the data science subject R programming. It is the introduction part of R programming. So in R programming, what type of concepts are implemented, how it is helpful to the data science, and how the data can be applied with a specific type of programming. So that concept we are going to discuss in today's session. So here R programming, as you know that there are different types of programming languages. We have C language, C++, Java, Python, okay, HTML, okay, SQL, like that. There are so many programming languages. See, same in that situation, in that manner, we have R programming. R programming, it is specially implemented to perform various types of programming operations through with the help of data science subject, and it is a open source and free source programming language. We didn't have any type of specification to install, or we didn't have any type of specification to process this programming language. So as I told you that it is an open source programming language, and this programming language is specially used for environmental database applications. There are so many database applications, but when it comes to data science subject, where the data is going to be processed, and when the data is going to be processed, in order to process the various types of database applications, we use a specific programming language, and that specific programming language helps us to process the data, to modulate the data, to update the data, and to perform various types of database operations, okay, on the tables. So here, specially while we are using this R programming, it is visualize database application, graphical database application, chart oriented database applications, and mathematical notations, okay, as well as statistical notations of the data that also can be processed with the help of R programming. So R programming is purely meant to perform statistical operations, visualization operations, text-based operations, chart operations, graphical operations, and some other mathematical notations. Okay, so it is widely used in the data science to analyze the data, visualize the data, and model the data. Visualize the data is nothing but whenever we have the data can be converted into the diagrammatic form. If the data is there in a specific format, and if you are converting the data into the structure, into the model, an ER model or any specific model, then we have to say that it is a data visualization, or it is also called a data modeling. Okay, so we have the data in the form of table, and the data we are converting into the specific model approach. Okay, and analysis of the data. As you know that analysis of the data is the basic point of the database system. It is a basic point of data science. In data science, while we are processing the data, we analysis, we process, and we perform various types of operations on the data. Okay, while you analysis the data, we process, we analysis, and we modulate the data also. So in data science, especially R program is implemented to perform various types of data science operations, modulate the data, analysis the data, and perform some mathematical and statistical notations of the data. Okay, so this was the basic introduction point of the R programming through data science. R programming is there, but this R programming through data science, we are going to process, we are going to modulate, and we are going to work on the data, and we will perform some programs, some programming operations on data science. Okay, so that's the introduction, basic part of the R programming. Next, if you look after the R programming, the R programming which includes various types of operations like variables, data structures, functions, okay, packages, graphics, scripts, some other operations, conditional statements, maybe procedures, maybe some such type of operations on the data. So there are various types of modules, there are various types of applications which are included in the R programming. So in data science, if you are using R programming, that R programming specially it allows the user to perform various types of statistical operations, various types of database applications, and various types of some functions, packages, okay, and other type of modules, graphical applications, or any such type of modules. Okay, so here some steps are there. You kindly look after the steps. The very first one is about variables. Variables, usually we will apply the variables to the data type. While you're applying the variables to the data type, we have to make sure that which data type we are using for that appropriate variable. Okay, maybe you may use integer data type or number data type. Maybe you can use character data type, string data type, boolean data type, okay, or any type of a specific data type. While you are using that specific data types, that data type variable must be implemented to the specific object or to the specific variable of the data type. Okay, so all the variables that can be used to store the data, of course it's a variable is the address of the given variable, a variable that stores the address of the given variable. So whatever the data type variable we are applying, okay, we are applying a variable to a specific data type, and what happens, that variable will store the address of the given variables. So data type is there, data type will store the address of the specific variable. Okay, next we have data structures. R has various types of data structures like built-in structures and other including data type structures are there, like vectors are there, matrices are there, arrays are there, list is there. Vector and matrices and arrays, and we have list objects. List is a data structure concept, but of course it is there in the data science also. The data structure concept or data science concept list, which allows the user to perform various types of operations through with the help of list of objects or list of contents. Okay, so here it follows a similar concept of arrays. Why? Because before going to work with the list or list, before going to work with stack, or before going to work with queue, okay, before going to work with these three specifications, we will use arrays concept, and that arrays concept is specially meant for processing of the data and its applications, processing of the data and its application that can be processed with the help of list. So R has several type of built-in structures, and all those built-in structures which are basically used to process the data, and there are various types of implementation structures are there, like vectors are there, matrices are there, arrays are there, list is there. Vector is one type of a data structure that works with a two-dimensional form. It works with a row and column structure. List is a type of data structure that works with either row or column format. Next, array is there. Array can be varied in the form of row or column structure, or row and column structure. Maybe it can be a single array structure, or maybe it can be a two-dimensional array structure. And then data frame term is given. The data frame is also one type of two-dimensional structure where the rows and columns that can be frame the data in a form of tabular structure. That is also called table structure. Okay, that's about the data structure, second concept. Third one, functions are there. A large number of functions and procedures can be used in the data science, that is in the specific form of R programming. While you're using this R programming, a large number of data structures, a large number of packages, a large number of functions can also be used, and these functions are the built-in functions that can be used for the data and its packages. Okay, and the fourth one, packages. As I told you just now, functions, procedures, packages, these three are the relevant concepts of R programming. While you are using functions, we may work with the different types of objects, and that function can be performed some mathematical or functional operation. Then procedures. Procedure is also one type of notation where we will apply different types of procedural operations. And package helps what? A package is also one type of application that can be processed already and the application that can be worked with various types of machine learning or any mathematical or data science tools. Data science tools or machine learning tools or any application tool that can be run under a package. So package is a predefined software. If you ask me what do you mean by package, means it's a predefined software. In this predefined software, we use the various types of applications to perform database operations. We use different types of packages. We use different types of applications, and all that applications that can be work or exist with various types of packages. We perform a package, we perform a database application with the help of a specific package. Okay, and graphics and scripts. Two more points are given: graphics and scripts. The graphics which are purely designed to process the data in a specific format, either two-dimensional format or three-dimensional format. Okay, in a specific way, in a GUI format, graphical user interface. In a GUI format, we represent the data. We represent the data in the specific graph, in a specific graph or in a specific diagrammatic form. So a powerful graphic tool that can be used to perform histograms, box plots or charts, etc. See, I told you just now, graphics which are used to perform with GUI applications. While you are using GUI applications, what happens? The GUI applications purely dependent on the chart based applications. They shows the data in the form of graphical representation, and our graphical representation that follows various types of chart notations. There are different types of chart types are also there, like line chart is there, bar chart, pie chart, XY chart, scatter chart, plot charts. So many chart types are there. Okay, so among the given different types of chart types, we use our data in a specific chart type. So the data can be represented in a graphical representation, graphical manner. While it is representing in a graphical manner, what happens? We will analyze the data easily. We will analyze the data easily, and we process the data easily. We come to know that how the data is going to be processed, how the up and downs are occurred in the data processing. Okay, for example, if you take an organization, if you want to look after the scenario of the organization, can be processed in a graphical representation. First, what we have to do is we have to take the data, we have to collect the data, and the data we have to convert into the a graphical representation in a diagrammatic form. While it is representing in a graphical representation, what happens? That graphical representation shows how your organization growth, how your company growth, how is your position, whether your data is in the upside, whether your data is in the downfall, how is happening, how the situations are there. That can be analysis, that can be identified, and that can be processed with the help of these graphics. That is the meaning of this fifth point, graphical applications or graphics. And the sixth one, that is called scripts. So scripts works with what? Scripts work with the different types of automated data, planning of the data, cleaning of the data, destroying of the unused data. Okay, unnecessarily unused whatever the data is there, that we can erase, we can delete from the scripts. Okay, so these six are the basic R include operations. In R programming, we include these six operations. The six operations are variables. Number one, variables. Number two, data structures. Number three, functions. Number four, packages. Number five, graphics. And number six, scripts. Okay, then we'll come to the environmental setup of the R programming. The environmental setup to work with this R programming, you have to install the open source R programming software. Before that, you have to go through with the hardware requirements, as your system configuration, as your RAM, how much RAM is there, and what is your HDD, hard disk drive. Okay, so first you have to go through with the system requirements, then you have to install the R software, R programming software. Choose the R programming software. Like example, Python and R, two examples are given. These two applications are work with various types of programming operations, and they are the properties of the database and cloud storage also. They're the properties of the database as well as cloud storage. So whenever we process this data, what happens is we officially on screen we process the data, we process the application, but what happens background of this, our entire data is going to be stored in the database. It's going to be stored in the database, and while it is storing the database, it may take the content from the open source software. Whatever the data we are processing on screen, that content data can be carried forward to the database, and from there the data is going to be stored permanently for a long period of time. Okay, so software requirements and hardware requirements, these two are the basic categories in order to work with and process the data with the help of R programming. Then we have some other points are there. Data is there, resources are there, workflow is there. Data is a acquire, prepare and process various types of applications, group of applications that can be processed with the data, and resources from various types of resources. From the various resources we collect, we process and we apply the data. And what will be a data processing stage? You can ask like how resources can be processed in the data science. See, whenever we process the data, we process the data on screen, but database system, background database system, what happens is it collects the data from different sources. Like for example, a person is processing the data in HTML format, another person is processing the data in Python programming, another person is processing the data in normal PDF format. So what database system will do is, database system will collect various resources. From various resources it collect the data, it process the data. Now what we have to do as a database administrator or as a data scientist, we may say that data scientist. In data science we have the term data scientist. So what is a data scientist? A data scientist who process the data, who acquire the data, who perform the data in various types of graphical applications, and a database, backend database, it collect the data from the various resources. That is nothing but it collect the data from various data scientists, from various data resource points. So from the various data resource point, it's going to be collect, it's going to be processed, and it's going to be store the data. That is the role of database. That is the role of resources database. And workflow. What will be the workflow? A workflow that can be processed, a workflow that can be established, the efficient data processing. How much efficiently we are processing the data and how much efficiently we are going to exist with the database system, that can be there in the workflow. These five are the environmental setup operations of the R programming. Okay, and we have some basic data types in R programming, that is called data types in R programming. In R programming, how like we have C programming data types, same like that in R programming also we have some data types. Okay, so with the data types only we are going to build the program. Number one, numeric data type. Number two, character data type. Number three, logic data type. Fourth one, factor, list, matrix, and data frame. Total we have 7 types. First one is numeric data type. A numeric data type is a data type that can be processed number based data. The number based data that can be processed with numeric database applications. And as you know that very simple character data type that can accept a single alphabet or group of text, group of alphabets, that can also be work with the character data type. And a logical data type, the logical data type which supports what? It supports true and false, true or false. The logical notations, true or false, that can be processed with a logical database. Next, a factor. Factor data type represents two representations. From the two representations, any one is going to be processed. That comes under factor. Example is given here, that is called gender. Example is given here, male and female. In case of factor data type, we undertake either it may be a male or else it may be a female. Then list. In list data type, what happens is a list of objects, a list of content, list of objects, a list of variable or content of data that must be belongs to one type. For example, you are taking student names. So all the student names should be written under name category. Then we have to say that this is a list. For example, you have selected as name. Name is the type of list. So what we have to do? We have to type all the names. We have to enter all the names. For example, you enter some names and in the middle you have entered some numbers. Then what happens? This is totally wrong. This is totally wrong. Why? Because when you choose a list, list tells what? Group of objects or group of the data, content of the data that must be belongs to a specific data type. It must be belongs the column data, it must be belongs to a specific type, either number type, character type, string type, or boolean type, or any other factor type. So it must be match a specific type, that is called a list. Then matrix and data frame, both of them are almost similar. Matrix performs two-dimensional array form, or it's a tabular form. Data frame also performs a data structure, a data that can be implemented in a form of table. This is a table, and in the form of table we are going to apply the data that comes under the data frame. Data frame performs the role of table only. It works with the different types of applications or process with the help of table. Okay, here we have a data type declaration range is there. If you take numeric data type 10,000 comma 3.14, we have a specific range actually. If you look after C programming integer data type -3 to 7682 +3 to 767, like that specific range is there for a specific data type. Here we have given some examples. We didn't give any range. Numeric means which category of the data you have to write. Integer means which category, which type of data you have to write. Character means which type of data you have to represent in the data science, either single alphabet or group of alphabets. Logical means which type of data you have to be processed, you have to work with the data science. And complex structure, the complex structure data, how it can be and in which data, which format we have to be processed, that comes under complex. And next we have some few concepts about the R programming only. It's a part of our introduction to R programming only in data science subject. So we discussed environmental setup, we discussed data types, we discussed what is the role of R programming in data science. Now we came to some such type of operators, some such type of objects or operators that can be used in the data science. For example, here arithmetic operators I have given. There are so many types of operators. Assignment operator is there, arithmetical operators are there, relational operators are there, logical operators are there, increment and decrement operator is there. Okay, unary, bitwise, so many operators are there. But when you look after in a specific R programming, there are some type of operators that can be used, like arithmetical operators, relational operators, logical operators, and other category of the operators. Here I have given some examples for arithmetical operators, like A is equal to B. Why I have chosen this means, usually we write like this: A is equal to 20, or A assignment 20, assignment operator, or in the mathematics point of view, we say that it is a equal to. But when you come to data science, when you are in R programming, we have to write like this: A is equal to 20. Now we have the difference with this first one and second one. In first case, directly we are writing A is equal to 20. But when you comes to, this is normal programming, normal case. But when you comes to R programming, in data science R programming point of view, we are representing A equal to, less than, minus. This less than minus is called, this is called equal to. Less than minus is called equal to. So A less than minus, that is called equal to 20. So we are representing the data this manner. I am saying that this, why I am selecting this topic means, arithmetic operators means, to represent the operators, to represent the different types of values, there are some specific methods are there, some slight changes are there, like A is equal to 20, it is like this, or A is equal to 20. This A is equal to 20 normal form, this is R programming form. Okay, same like that, a plus b, a minus b, they are common, they are normal one. A plus b, a minus b, a into b, a by b, a division b, a modulo division b, modulo and modulo division b. Those are all common operations of the R programming. Next we have vector. A vector specifies what? The group of data must be belongs to the same type. This is a group of data. All numbers are there. All numbers are there. They all belongs to one type. For example, 78 comma a comma 3.0 comma 90 comma 88. If I write like this is not a vector. Why? Because vector states what? A vector states group of objects, group of data, whatever we are representing in the parameter, that is belongs to a one type. It's a unique type. It should not be different categories. Here in the example, some values are there: 78, 85, 90, 88. Those are all called vector values. Here 78 comma a comma 3.0 comma 90 comma 88. This is not at all a vector. So we can identify a vector by with the help of same type of data what we are representing in the parameter. Okay, that is a vector. And matrices defines what? Matrices defines specific row number, column number. Specific row number, column number. 2 cross 3, 3 cross 3, 3 cross 2. So whatever the specific row and column number we are typing, that comes under matrices. Okay, that is the meaning of matrix. And next, data frame. A data frame states what? Data frame is a tabular structure. This tabular structure that can be represents in a specific form. In this form, we may type name of the students, we may type gender of the students, we may type grade of the student, and we may type marks of the student. So many different category of the field names I have given. So for this respective field names, we'll type different types of names, grades, and different types of categories of the data. Okay, that comes under the data frame. Data frame is also a concept, a property of the data science. It is a part of R programming. Next we have list. List, as I told you just now, group of one-dimensional array or group of elements in a row form or column form that can be applied with the list objects. They called a list objects. They called a list of variables, list of objects, or we will say list of data items. List of data items. The list of data items must be belongs to the same name. So we can give list name also, like my list or any name. We can specify name also. For example, I'm writing an example here. In this example here, I'm writing names of the students. Names of the students. Here I wrote all the names. All these names must be belongs to this category. All these names, we will say list of names. We will say list of names, group of names. So list of names. How many students are there in a class? For example, 60. All this list of names I required to process furtherly. So this list of names belongs to a specific name, that is called list name. It is a name, it is an identifier of the list, it is a name of the list, it is a declaration of the list. You can say any name, any word. Okay, or you can say that my list data or list of the data. You can say like that also. So for this list of data, the group of names can be applied, the group of names can be processed. Clear? So these four are the data type and their operations. They are vector, matrices, data frames, and list. Vector, matrices, data frames, and list. These four are the advanced form of the data types in R programming. Clear? So I hope you understood. This is about the today's session. Thank you.